Hi there, so on this video blog and this audio blog, I wanted to talk to you about a section that I actually teach on my Reclaim Your Destiny seminar. And I feel this is going to be really valuable for you because it's all about you and your qualities. I really think that in society we don't really look out for ourselves and we don't really think about ourselves in the most empowering way, in the most positive, healthy way. So what I like to do is ultimately this exercise, and it's like my task for you really. Because if you want to be able to make changes in your life, if you want to be able to develop a greater self-esteem, then it's very, very important to build up those qualities and actually understand how many beautiful and wonderful qualities that you have. So what I do in my seminar is exactly this. If you can imagine you have a piece of paper, and if you put a circle right in the middle, and you just write down qualities there, or my qualities, what I'd like you to do is ultimately think about all the wonderful qualities that you have and then jot them around so it becomes like a mind map really. So you may think, well, one of my qualities is that I've got this thirst for learning or improving myself. Then you'd write that down. Maybe you have a wonderful personality, maybe you're humorous, maybe you're very good at your job. Write those down. And as you begin to collect all these wonderful things, you begin to then branch out. And you think, actually, I'm good at this. You may even want to think about how maybe your friends see you, how your family sees you. Because it's very hard to be able to think of our own qualities sometimes. But if you take this moment right now to step outside of yourself and look through the eyes of a loved one, maybe a brother, maybe a sister, a girlfriend, boyfriend, father, mother, daughter, best friend, whatever it is, and whatever connection they are, maybe even a work colleague, look through their eyes for a while and just think of the type of thoughts they'll have towards you and what qualities that you have which enriches their life. And as you keep on writing those down, you'll begin to be able to create this beautiful picture of all your wonderful qualities. Now everyone, absolutely everyone, has an unlimited amount of qualities. But the thing is, we just don't think about it, or we just defeat ourselves, whether it be through limiting self-talk or negative feelings. This way, we can begin to flip it right back over, and you can begin to actually get a bigger picture of who you are and what your identity is, and actually what drives you as well. So what I'd like you to do is get a piece of paper, write down my qualities in the middle and just circle it, and then come up with a huge amount of ideas of the type of qualities that you have. When you do this, and the reason why I want to give you this tip is that your unconscious mind can begin to search for more of it. And also it will begin to break down those limiting beliefs that we may have, or those illusions that we actually make up in our mind of how we perceive ourselves or how we think people perceive us. So when you begin to do this, we're actually breaking down limiting beliefs. We're breaking down negative emotions. We're breaking down limiting behaviors. And we're beginning to develop these empowering thoughts all about you. Because the images in your mind and the thoughts that you feel about yourself have a great impact on your health. If you're focusing on all the, maybe of the qualities that we dislike about ourselves, we're thinking those thoughts. We're talking about it inside our mind. And our body picks that up, and that creates feelings. So you could say your thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings create your behavior, and that will dictate how you react in your environment. And if you're thinking those negative thoughts or those negative qualities that we perceive what we may have, then you're creating those negative feelings, and your body picks those up. And it causes us to feel bad about ourselves. And ultimately, we can become physically ill because of that. Because the mind and body is completely interconnected. Deepak Chopra actually once said the mind or the body actually, is continually eavesdropping on what the mind is thinking. Now, if we begin to focus on the qualities that we have, and you do have so many of them, when we begin to think about them and really absorb them and understand, there's who we really are, there's what I wanted to be able to develop in myself, those thoughts become to be feelings, and then your body picks up those thoughts and feelings. And then you begin to stand up straight, you begin to talk in a different way. You begin to walk in a different way. And ultimately your mind and body and all the behaviors that you have become congruent in what you're doing. Now when that happens, you begin to really understand about how your mind works. you begin to really understand that you are a wonderful person. Because whatever you think you are always, always more than that. And that's something to really think about. And as you go to sleep, maybe, there's another small side step of a tip. Once you've got your qualities, and you have them in your mind, what I like to do is, as you go to bed, maybe have a brief look at them. And as you look at those qualities, just think about them. And maybe think about how other qualities that you may have, or other areas of your life, that those qualities that you have could go into those other areas. Maybe you have wonderful qualities in your relationships, but when you think about it, it may not be in your health. Well, the more you think about those qualities as you go to sleep, and begin to apply them as you visualize them in your other areas of your life, maybe your career, maybe your health, maybe your finances, then your unconscious mind will begin to get that signal, and as you go to sleep, your unconscious mind will be able to really resonate and find the resources that you deserve to be able to have a greater growth rate, really. So you're really becoming the real you, and you're growing as an individual. Now, the great thing about this as well is that when you begin to change, you perceive things differently. And you see things in a most wonderful way. From thinking that maybe I'm not good enough for that job, instead of that, your qualities will be there. So you think, actually, the qualities that I have, I can get that job, and I'm going to really go for it. Same thing if you go for maybe someone in a relationship. You think, well, that person looks really, really nice. I'd love to be able to approach her, but I don't think that, I think she may reject me, or he may reject me, or I'm not the confident person, or I have nothing to give that person of value. These qualities that you begin to think about will transform that situation. You think, yeah, that person over there is worthy of my time, is worthy of my personality, because I have all these great qualities. So it really begins to transform lots of different areas of your life. So just remember, the qualities that you think about will create new thoughts. Those thoughts will create wonderful feelings inside, and from those thoughts and feelings, you'll be beginning to develop new behaviors, new ways of acting and reacting, which ultimately will produce the results that you want. So there's just a small snippet, really, of what I really go into depth in the seminar, but as you know, I want to be able to give you as many free tips as possible in the time that I have in these short little segments, so you can begin to utilize this for yourself. So I hope you enjoyed that tip. I know when I've done this, it really opens up your eyes to your potential. So be aware that the blog is josephclough.com/blog, where you can sign up to these videos and really get a greater understanding of how you can improve your life to be really your potential. So thank you.